Once upon a time, there was a girl named Aria, who lived in a small village on the outskirts of a great kingdom. Aria was an orphan who was raised by her grandmother. She had always lived a simple life, and had never been interested in the affairs of the kingdom. However, her life was about to change forever. One day, while Aria was on her way to the market, she was kidnapped by a group of men and taken to the kingdom. She was confused and scared, and had no idea why she had been taken. When she arrived at the palace, she was greeted by the king, who informed her that she was to be his bride. Aria was shocked and horrified. She had no desire to marry a man she had never met, let alone become queen. She begged the king to let her go, but he refused. Aria was trapped. For the first few months, Aria was miserable. She missed her grandmother and her simple life in the village. She hated the palace and the people around her. The only person who showed her any kindness was the king's sister, Princess Isabella. Isabella was a kind-hearted woman who had always opposed her brother's cruel rule. She saw something in Aria that reminded her of herself, and took her under her wing. As Aria spent more time with Isabella, she began to see the good in the kingdom. She saw the beauty of the palace, and the kindness of some of the people. She realized that she had a duty to the people of the kingdom, and that she could use her position as queen to help them. However, the kingdom was in a state of chaos. The king was a cruel and unjust ruler, who had no interest in the well-being of his people. The people were starving, and there was unrest in the streets. Aria knew that she had to do something to help. She began to meet with the people, to hear their concerns and to understand their problems. She visited the poorest neighborhoods in the kingdom, and saw the suffering that the people endured. She knew that she had to act. Aria began to use her position as queen to make changes in the kingdom. She convinced the king to allocate more resources to help the poor, and to improve the infrastructure of the kingdom. She worked tirelessly to bring the kingdom out of the chaos that it was in. However, the king was not pleased with Aria's actions. He saw her as a threat to his rule, and he began to plot against her. He spread rumors about her, and tried to turn the people against her. He even tried to have her assassinated. But Aria was determined to succeed. She continued to work for the good of the kingdom, even in the face of danger. She never gave up, and eventually, the people began to see her as a true leader. As the years passed, Aria became known as the greatest queen in the history of the kingdom. She had transformed the kingdom from a state of chaos to a place of peace and prosperity. The people loved her, and she loved them. And as for the king, he was eventually overthrown by the people, who had grown tired of his cruelty and his disregard for their well-being. Aria became the true ruler of the kingdom, and she reigned with compassion and wisdom for many years to come. In the end, Aria realized that she had been brought to the kingdom for a reason. She had been given the opportunity to make a difference, to help the people who had been suffering for so long. And she had done just that. She had become the queen that the people needed, and she had brought peace and prosperity to the kingdom. And even though she had been kidnapped and taken from her home against her will, Aria had found her true calling as a queen. She had faced many challenges along the way, but she had never given up. She had struggled to become the queen that the kingdom needed, and she had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. And so, Aria lived out the rest of her days as a beloved queen, always remembered for the good she had done for her people. Her story became a legend, passed down from generation to generation, a reminder of the power of courage, determination, and love.